Hello, everyone.
Oh, hi. Welcome to Workshop Wednesdays. So yeah, this is something new we've just decided to start doing based on feedback from the community. And we're going to be doing LogiX work, building work, and answering your questions. And there is a few things you are going to need, you know, to get started on building, which I'll go into. You know, we need, essentially, you know...
Neos.
Neos, yeah. Well, we need Neos first, but we need, of course, our dev tips, our LogiX tips, and also, if I could actually grab hold of what I've got down here, we need a turkey.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, I'll put the turkey back now. But if you guys have got any questions or anything you've ever been confused about in Neos regarding building LogiX, you know...
And content creation.
Yeah, and content creation. This is the place to ask. But, let's see. Is there something planned already or not? We have a few ideas planned, Kulza. We're going to go over some basic clock logics today. At least one thing, which will be the digital clock, which is simple. And hopefully we can progress from there, going on to some harder things as we move along, really. And yes, Angel Boy, you catch the right stream. Unfortunately,
try to
I can't guarantee...
if you're selecting the camera.
Woo!
Otherwise, thank you.
Unfortunately, I can't tell you where to find
to...
this specific turkey, but because this is our special turkey. You know, this is my secret weapon for building. Yeah, as you may notice, the desk goes up and down.
Same with the walls in the back.
Yeah, we hijacked Chroma's world.
Now.
Thanks for the host, player. Much appreciated. But yeah, this is our world now. This is our building world. It's nice. It's clean. What's this? Let me see. Kulza said, I'd like to see a tutorial on using world core and intensity set up on an avatar, along with setting up the materials on the avatar to support it, as it is something that people have asked me. Oh, are you talking about the thing with the value, the dynamic variables that have become a standard around Neos? I assume. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. We could go into that at some point. I'm sure. Right, if you could cover that one actually,
Yes,
that'd be cool. Trying to think if there's anything else. Okay, let's see if we've got a couple of questions. Is there an ability to stream in lower resolutions? Unfortunately, no.
That's on Twitch.
That's on Twitch's end. Whether or not we get that selector is completely random. We do try and get it every time by restarting the stream at least once or twice. Also, my light tracker's being really sensitive and my tongue keeps poking out a lot. I'm curious about that movement system with the colour maps. I don't know what it's called. I'm not sure on that one.
Oh, okay. I know what they're talking about. They're talking about, like, say on a splat map, for example, or a texture, depending on where you're walking, it changes your locomotion.
Ah,
Mm.
Like, say if you're walking on ice, it's going to be slippery compared to when you're walking on snow or ground.
oh right, okay, yeah. That's that came in with the new Beppu, didn't it?
Yep,
Yes,
that
it
was
did.
a little bit of an update, pretty much, to that, as well as, like, step up. When you step up, like, stairs, or if you tweak it a certain way, you can do the, do ladders and how games used to do it, where you literally just walk up it, like in Gmod, Halo, Call of Duty, etc. I remember
Yeah.
those, like, did that, where you literally just walk up looking up on a... Actually, still games do that method today.
Yeah. Oh, also thanks for the follow, Mr. Jinxie Cake, much appreciated. But yeah, as I say, we do plan on trying to do this every Wednesday. So some of the stuff may be basic, some of the stuff may be a bit more advanced. We will actually state, at the start, if we're going to be doing some advanced stuff. So then, you know whether or not it's going to be for you. Some of the other things we'll also go over is we were talking about, just basic, simple stuff, especially even just down to, how to make your LogiX look nice. And make it so at least when you unpack your LogiX again, you don't end up with spaghetti. Because that could be really, really frustrating as you develop a project further and further and further. You find that you unpack this LogiX and it's just a mess, and then you go, I don't know what I'm doing anymore. So yeah. What's this? I'm wondering if this is the right place to ask oddly specific questions about mesh normals and import formats. I assume not. My question is a bit too specific.
Import formats, most likely. Because there's, like, different types of models, textures, and actually file formats in general that are, like, quite different from each other depending on what you're doing. Whether it be models, audio, meshes, even video.
Yep. And to answer your question, Kuro, will you be showing and level will be listed in the background as well? What we're going to do is as we go through this, we are probably going to start saving copies of this world so people can come in and have a look at what's been built and actually check them out for themselves, break them apart. So everything will be available for people to check out, because that way then at least, you've got the visual tutorial on Twitch and on our YouTube, no doubt, and you've also got it physically in Neos, which means you can actually come have a look at it.
One thing I'll say right away on the question that was just said: do not bake everything under one object. Please don't. That sounds like something that would help. Imagine thousands of trees on a map baked onto one object. That's like one individual model that's very large. What you would have to do, if it's like rooms, that's really easy to cull out using what is called Collider user trackers. I think Prime has a video tutorial on that.
Yeah.
If not, then recommend that.
Well, it's like this world as an example right now. There's loads of trees around the place outside, and these are completely separate from the building. They are completely separate from each other, which means we can break it down and remove trees and add trees as needed. Because the problem is, if you've brought something in as one big baked mesh, and say that mesh is causing an issue, you can't easily remove it from that mesh then. It's actually better. Yes, next?
I was just waving at the person.
I saw you.
Hi.
Oh, okay. I could see you waving, so I was like, okay, what's the next one? Oh, hi, Two-Tail. Welcome to the stream. First time viewer. Awesome.
Yep.
Will there be a link saved in comments on the YouTube channel then? So we can enter the world from a link instead of trying to find the correct one. General rule of the thumb is there will only be one version of this world, and it'll be called Workshop Wednesday. And we will have everything categorized. Just to show you, actually, next, if you'd just like to go into your first person camera a moment and come with me. We actually have in here, we have some little walls that we can bring up. on each wall, we will actually mount the LogiX and the items. So you can, and it'll have a date written on the wall that will say this stream. So then you'll know which stream that item has come from.
It's also dual-sided too.
Yeah, it's
So
also
you can snap
dual-sided.
things on it.
So it's, we're trying to make this as awesome for everyone.
So you're saying users can come back inside of here and they can actually watch and view exactly what's been made out?
Yes, they'll be able to come in and see exactly what we've made.
Nice.
Because it's more, if we can do it as an interactive tutorial, this will be, really helpful in general, because people can come in, see how this world's been made. This world is fantastic.
I think showing like how to make a analog clock like this might be pretty neat too, because this is simple.
Yeah. Okay, so let's start clearing up some of these.
Yeah, so why don't I think it would be good to probably save any and all questions until after the tutorial type stuff, and then we can get into answering a lot of questions just at the end of the stream type of thing. So try to hold off your questions unless it relates to the tutorial specifically.
Yes.
You guys in chat.
Definitely, because
Thank you.
as I say, we are only going to answer questions related to building in Neos. Mostly, we're not really going to answer general Neos questions or opinions on things, unfortunately.
Yeah.
That is something that's more reserved for our Friday streams.
And we also have the Discord and other means of communication as well too.
So, as I say, we'll get started with a basic thing, which will be a standard digital clock first, which is probably one of the more simpler things to make in Neos. It's about 4 or 5 LogiX nodes and a text display. And as I say, either of our LogiX wizards or our builders wizards can go ahead and show people how that's done. You can fight amongst yourselves.
Would you guys like
I'll
to go
start by
over?
making
Would
a.
you like to go over there? We can bring
Actually, you want to do the analog one, don't you, Aegis?
Well, I can help do both, but mainly the visual parts of it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, if you and Ryevi want to do that, then go ahead.
Actually, we can take a. Actually, wait a minute. Leaving this camera anchor right here might be good. So if you bring the camera over here. Okay, good. We have a good preview here. So actually, I'm gonna get all the things that we need for this.
Yeah, let's bring the desk. Let's bring the desk down out the way.
Actually, we can even stand on it for now.
Yep.
I am going to get a couple of tools out beforehand. Material tooltip, in case I ever need to edit the materials. A dev tooltip, of course, I already have that, as well as a LogiX tooltip that we can use.
I've already got my own.
Yeah, since this is a digital clock, we'll start out first. Let me get this out of my face. I'm going to take this tooltip and open my hand menu here, or context menu. And I hit create new. And right here, right away, if we're going to use a text-based system for this, I'm going to go to text. And there's 2 options here. I kind of want to do an outline here, because it'll have like a nice little outline you can color to whatever you'd like. And this text, we can use it for anything. So, and I can even select it with the dev tooltip, open it up in here, using secondary, and opening up the hand menu once it's selected. I'll bring up the inspector here. Now, the thing that we're going to focus on here is this component, the text render in this case. So,
maybe just a little bit closer there.
Yep. Sorry.
You're fine.
Let me deselect it since we already got it open. So as all these different parameters for text, including fonts. So we could probably even, once we're done, we can drag in a couple different cool fonts. Actually, I gotta find like a digital cloth font while you're working on the LogiX for this.
What you want to do is to try and find a monospaced font for that. And the reason why we say a monospaced font is the numbers are always spaced the same, so it never jumps. But we can show an example.
Squishes. I see.
Stuff. But if we create the clock with a normal font first, people could see the effect of not having a monospaced font on it.
Yeah. You also got the unlit material here, where you can like change the tint color. In this case, let's have it like a nice blue with a lighter blue outline here. Actually, background color.
Yeah, you don't want to close that inspector just yet, Aegis.
Nope, it's habit. We're gonna need this. So, I'm gonna make a little housing for this thing. Like
Okay.
a little, like alarm clock box that this will
While
be
you do
on.
that, I can do some basic logics.
Mhm.
So, in terms of the logics for this setup, of course you'll need your logics tip, and I'm going to pop out myself a node browser. And in here, well, there's many different ways to make a digital clock like this, but one way to do it is to get yourself the UTC Now node, which is found under Input. And if you just look at this node directly, it gives you...
Here, let me actually go to your POV there.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay.
It's on your POV.
Well, if you look at this node directly, well, it gives you your current date and time. But we want this to be... We only want the time, it gives us the time in UTC, and we want the time to be up on the text here. So we need to format this time. Well, conveniently, we have, I believe it's under string, and quick format. We have a format time. Oops, I'm clicking the back wall, that's not good.
I'm gonna
So,
try to disable
you
that.
can plug this into the format time, and we want to not use 24-hour. And you can see I'm hovering over each of these inputs, and it's telling me what they are. I want to show seconds, and I do not want to show milliseconds. And if I pull this out, well, now it gives us 10:16 blah 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 PM. But this is in UTC time, not our local time. So to provide it in our local time, we can go under math. I believe it is time span? No, it is date time. And the to local time node we can place in between UTC Now and our time. And this provides us now with, at least in my case, my local time. And this is a string, so how do we plug this string into the text? Well,
Aegis.
we will grab the text renderer here, like this, using grep with the logics node, and I will press secondary to pop out its interface card.
It's open
Now
source.
all I have to do is plug this text here into this text, and now it shows up there on the clock.
Nice.
I don't know if we have a
Look at this
monospace font on there
actor.
just yet, but
Yep.
that's the basic logics to this. Let me just format this a little bit nicer here.
Yeah, if we just bring the clock down so people can see it, because it might jump around. It may not.
There we go. So here's the logics for...
Oh, that
This
font
clock.
actually is monospaced.
Huh. Well, at least the numbers are.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, so now we want to pack this logics onto the text, and just for the sake of making this nice and simple, underneath... Oh, the table has stolen the inspector. Okay, thank you. I'm going to add a child underneath this slot, and for that it is the star button up here. I'm going to call this logics, and I'm going to grab this new slot and choose set packing route. While I'm grabbing it, and I open the context menu with the logics tip, then I will hold secondary until this circle here is full, and aim at our logics and let go. And now this logics is packed under this node. So now the logics that controls this text is inclusive to the text, so if you save it to your inventory or whatnot, it will persist. And in terms of, let me just deselect here, in terms of the logics for this basic digital clock, that's all there is to it.
Nice.
Yeah, thanks to the improvement changes to LogiX recently, especially with some of the stuff that Probable Prime brought in recently, making a digital clock has become a lot simpler than it used to be. Because before it used to be quite a mess. And
Yeah.
I actually am going to read a question here. Would this information work if I wanted to make a personalized wristwatch? Absolutely.
Of course.
Absolutely, and you notice that the format date time or the format time LogiX node had different inputs, so you can show milliseconds, you can show the seconds, you can have it in 24-hour time if you like. It has a lot of settings.
Now, Rayuvi, would you be able to show our users how to unpack the LogiX that is now on there, just to show them that they can have access to it, and that way when they come inside here, then they can actually look over the nodes when they see it here inside the world. So I'll switch you back to Smith.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah, just show them that, because I know that there's some people that wouldn't know how to unpack.
So once you've got your LogiX packed, to unpack it, it's quite simple. Well, first you'll need your LogiX tip, and you will grab the slot in the inspector that your LogiX is packed under, and while you're grabbing it, you can press your context menu button, and you'll see some new options here. If you click Unpack Child, then your nodes reveal themselves again, and then you can go ahead and edit it and do whatever you want. Like, for instance, I can choose this, and now it shows 24-hour time and milliseconds, but we don't want that. Of course, when you're done, you can choose the slot you want to pack to if it's not already shown here, and set the packing route, pack it up, and you're good to go.
One of the comments in chat. If you live in Australia, the clock is upside down. Remember that, everyone.
Yes.
Now, the other thing we can do is you can change the font display and everything on text as well.
Yes, all of the text formatting is controlled through the text renderer component. In this case, on the text itself, we can control things like the size, vertical alignment. But a lot of these don't matter too much. Thank you.
Okay.
A lot of these don't matter too much in this case, since it's just a single line of text. Horizontal alignment and vertical alignment, not too much. Aegis is how's the box for the clock coming along, by the way?
Oh, I'm just gathering materials for it. I think I might even just showcase how I make the visuals for objects.
Yeah, we can do. I know
Yeah.
Earthmark's asking about a UI UX clock as well.
Ah, yes.
I think UIX would be like its own kind of...
Yes, the
I
UX
think we'll
clock would
do-
be another topic.
We will
Yeah.
definitely we'll do a full workshop stream, I think, just specifically on UIX at some point. Because UIX is a very big thing, and it could take up a lot of time.
Yeah.
So for now, we won't be going into that this week,
Here's
but
an example, though.
possibly at another point. Yes.
That's out of UIX.
Yes, this is an analog clock made out of UIX, which is also a facet, conveniently.
Yep, it's just like a UIX version of this one that I made a while ago, using procedural meshes. This one's using procedural UIX elements.
Also, next, could you send the POV to Aegis? Because I think
Sure.
my work here is pretty much done, and I think people would be interested in seeing what Aegis is doing.
Absolutely. Okay, just say what you're up to.
Okay, so right here I have
Oops.
ascended. Okay,
You've ascended.
I have created like a empty object here that'll house all the entirety of the clock. So I named it digital clock example. In this case, actually, I am going to make it also grabbable.
Okay, be sure to also let users know exactly where you're adding that, because
Yeah.
Okay,
you're going into
okay.
it. So
Habit. Yes.
Yes.
let's just make it happen.
Yes.
Like you're really teaching somebody right now, because there's a lot of people watching.
Okay.
Simple rule, Aegis. EL5.
Okay. So, when I have this set up, I usually organize this in a fashion where I separate the visual, the model of what it's going to look like, the technical part of it, the logics. I will make a folder on there simply just by clicking the star button here. It creates a child object, and in this case, I will name this clock logic. In this case, and it'll house all the logic for it and the text itself. And I also made one previously for the visual. So I'm going to start over here. I'm going to delete that box. The object's still there, it's just invisible. So I'm going to take this tool right here, And I am going to go into here with my context menu and create new. In this case, it's a 3D model, and these are procedural meshes that you can get with Neos and mess around with. Let's just start with a box here. Now, as soon as you spawn it out, you'll see these green little lines and dots, depending on which part of it is. Like on the box it does different things when you adjust the box's size. So in order to adjust the size of the box using this method is by pointing on it with your laser and holding the trigger, you can basically manipulate the box's size procedurally by moving these around. That's an edge, this is a face. You also got the corners as well too. So, a way to get rid of this green lines, you can just basically select it like so with secondary, and I will also open this with the inspector while it's selected by opening my context menu. I'll move these other procedural meshes aside and drag this box under the visual. Now this box is still grabbable, and that's one thing I don't want, because I want the whole thing to be grabbable. So in here, I'm gonna click and drag down here to find the mobile component. I actually don't even need that. I can just delete it. And what I am also going to do is go over here, and it's in a weird orientation. When dealing with trying to align stuff, if you want it to align perfectly 0, 0, 0, I simply just hit position, rotation, and scale. We'll set it to 1, 1, and 1 on all 3 axes. Now if I grab this, can't grab it because I still have yet to add the grabbable component on everything. So I'm going to do that under the attached component right here while I have the top object selected, yes. So I go here, and once I have attached component opened, the most common location you'll find components that pretty much is for everyday use is under transform. In this case, it'll be under the interaction subcategory, and it's right up here, grabbable. Now I'm also going to make it scalable as well too by clicking that. Now that means if I grab this, I grab the entirety of the object here. I also have chat here as well too. So I'm keeping up. So in this case, I am going to make just the frame of this. I can also adjust the box's size within its component. Now each procedural mesh has their own component. In this case it's the box mesh. You can change the UV, they have different parameters, so it depends on what it is. In this case you got the size, you got the UV scale, and scale with UV size, or scale UV with size, is basically how the texture is mapped on the object here. So I have this wood material here. Actually, I should probably show how I applied that material as well too. With material orbs, you can import textures, and there's also a library of materials within Neos Essentials as well too. I'm going to bring that up here. So we go into Neos Essentials, make this visible. So I got, alright, got this open. This is under Neos Essentials in your inventory. You got a whole lot of materials here to mess around with and play with. In this case, I have a wood material here that's open source. Actually, I could... No, I got the materials here that I need. I can take this material tooltip that I have grabbed. Once I have a spawn material orb, I can literally just drag it into here, let go, and it'll snap right into place. Point at the object that I want to edit the material with, or apply the material with, and it'll place it on there right there. So, alternatively, I can just also grab this with my laser or hand and click on the material slot in the mesh render component. So now I'm going to change the size of this box here. When I select the gizmo,
Or you'll ascend.
yes. When you have a gizmo open, usually you have these different symbols here that do different things depending on what you're going to do with manipulating an object in here. Right now it's on transform, so it's selected on the box, so I can point at this with my laser, move it left and right on the x-axis by pointing at the red arrow, or green with the y-axis and blue with the z, or I can click on this box and it'll move on 2 axes. Now if I want to move on all 3, I point at the center box here with my dev tool, and I can just move that freely. I can also click on this box right here and it'll open up the rotation gizmo. And that's where I can rotate it simply by clicking on these and dragging, as well as scale. Now, depending on what you have selected with a gizmo, there may be additional boxes here, and usually they are not marked yet, but when you click on them, in this case the box, it will open up the gizmo to change these actual scale or size of the box via its parameters. So I'm just gonna move this box to a relatively decent size, reset its position again, and there we go, we got a box here. I'm gonna make a little glass encasing on it by making another box in front of it. I'll duplicate that box, and it's already selected here, so I'm gonna just move it forward, kind of roughly position it here, and go to the x-axis, slightly scale it down, and the y-axis, slightly scale it down as well. There we go. And the z-axis, actually I could select the mode here and scale it down like this. Oh, oops, I must have undid. Deselect. Now I'm actually going to take this glass material, apply it onto here. And we got a nice little glass encasement here. Also gonna...
Oops.
Oh.
The floor
That's
stole
why.
your clock.
It might be
Yes,
a better
it
idea
did.
to move over to the corners where you guys probably should be building out instead of right over
Yeah,
here on
let's
this
move
table.
away from this platform.
Let's move away from the cursed platform.
Good idea.
Yeah.
I'll just grab these with my laser here.
As much as we like the cursed platform, it's a cursed platform.
Yes. I'm going to make this look like a screen, so I have this dark unlit material here. And actually, it's overlapping this other box here since I duplicated it. Now, I applied that material, and I'm going to slightly move this just in front of it. Now we got ourselves a nice looking screen that the digital clock will be displayed on.
Beautiful.
And I am going to make one more box, and that will be just the bottom of it. And I think I forgot how I'm duplicating, or shown that I duplicated things. So whenever you're duplicating an object, you just simply select it. When it's green, it's a selected object. Then you hit this green box here, and it will duplicate that object. It's been a while since I've done tutorials, so excuse me, people. Or, yeah. So I'm just gonna move this down here.
You're doing fine.
And Actually, I'm gonna scale this down to that. Make it slightly smaller. Even with simple boxes, you can make like a whole bunch of different details for objects here. This is one thing I kind of just wanted to really show, is that you can take simple objects and kind of make it really like realistic or even nice looking depending on what you're doing with it. So here we go, we got a nice simple looking realistic alarm clock here. And now we can take this text here.
If I am going to be honest, that does look really good, actually.
Yeah, I really like it.
Procedural measures for the win. Okay. So, we got our visual here. And I have the clock logic. Actually, this is already self-contained, right?
Yes.
Okay, I guess I don't even need the clock logic. I can simply just delete that. You got outline. I am going to rename this to clock text. Okay.
Hold on, I think
skipped a step.
Also, that was wrong clock. That's the one that's on the wall.
Oh, did someone duplicate it?
I duplicated it. I'm guilty.
Well, the
Okay.
logic's self-contained, so either or works.
Yeah, so yeah, we'll bring that one over here then. Take that one off the wall and we'll put this one on the wall.
Yup. Okay. So, actually, to demonstrate how I dragged something over here, for those of you who knew how I drag objects under something, if I haven't shown that already, I simply just grab it by pointing at the object I want to grab with my laser and holding the grab button or right-clicking in a desktop, if I'm correct, and I simply point at the object I want to place it under or parent it under and let go. So it's already there. Reset its position, rotation, scale as usual. And let's kind of bring that forward.
And yeah, Lemon, we are doing building on Neos tutorials.
Once again, it's actually been a while since this kind of stream has been done. And actually, we don't even need to scale the object itself that the text is on. We just play around with this slider here. Gesundheit.
Bless you.
Kuru, to answer your question, as long as you have a tooltip, which is a developer tooltip, it will not matter. Also, thanks for the bits, Max. Much appreciated.
Finger tracking. Stop being weird. Okay. Yeah, here we go.
That clock is looking
Actually,
great.
this right here is still grabbable. Okay. Yeah, also, whenever you make a piece of text in here, for example, it's going to be grabbable. It's its own object. So the problem is with this, if I still have the grabbable on it, this will happen. And you definitely don't want that happening. So in this case, I am going to just delete that and actually delete this.
I suppose that's one way you could say you'd be losing time.
Someone stole
Yeah.
your time.
Yeah.
Yep. Now, Rue has provided a font here that actually is quite good.
Little digital font. That one's it's an open font too, by the way, which means it can be used for anything, anywhere.
Yep. And in order for me to use this font, whenever you import a font, it'll basically import like a piece of text and it'll say the font name in the actual font it came with. So in this case, actually, can you bring that font again? Because I just
yes.
typed out all the numbers so I can double check if they look nice.
There you go.
So
That's what it's called.
Yep.
All I did was drag and drop it onto the Neos window from my desktop, and this is what it popped up as.
7 segments. Okay. That's kind of hard to
Yeah.
read that. Yes. So, actually, to continue demonstrating this, so I'll grab this. Just like how I grab a material, I can grab this with the same hand or the opposite hand as well, too. And click on this right here. And well, that's a weird PM, but that's stylized, so I'm actually gonna change the size. And here we go. It's now a digital clock font. Actually, this will look nicer when it's red.
The nice thing about this being a piece of text is you can go in and manipulate the things about it, like the color and the font and such, on the fly.
Yeah, actually, I'm gonna make it.
Why don't you just make it
orange.
RGB and show off how to do RGB on stream? That's pretty easy now.
Why the hell not? We don't even need LogiX most of the time, I think, for this one specifically. Let's try.
Yeah. try
So
it out.
we got. So when we have a color here, I'm gonna make the outline black in this case, so you won't see it. So when you have a color, you have 4 different numbers. You have the red, channel, green, blue, and alpha. Whenever you manipulate those numbers, it changes the color. And alpha changes the opacity. So actually, what if we just made it an outline? That looks cool. And whenever you click on these boxes, you can manually manipulate these.
Give it a bit of a
Parameters.
glow as well, I guess.
Yes, and I was about to demonstrate that this bottom slider here increases its gain. Now, if you wanted even more than that, you just go in here. Right now it's at 10, and if you put it at 1,000, you don't want that.
A clock that'll blind you at night.
Yeah, it'll definitely be a wake-up call.
Definitely.
I'll just keep this at like a solid red. There we go. And I'll just make that 0. That's 0. Also, the way I'm grabbing these and dragging and dropping, just like how I'm dragging and dropping materials and such here, I can grab by pointing at these, hitting the grab button, and letting go. And I can...
It's a quick way to copy text.
Exactly, or values. So, we want to make this do RGB. So, we got 4 different numbers, and those are float values. Now, we'll actually install the components on the text itself in this case. So, I am going... Wasn't there Swizzle drivers?
There are Swizzle drivers under
What
relations.
color? Okay. Yes, I'm going to be learning something new myself.
To tell, or do you want to describe a Swizzle driver?
This is new to me, Ravi.
Yeah, why doesn't
You go ahead.
Yeah, Ray, you can. Here, I'll put your view.
Yeah, well,
These are where they're located.
Well, while Aegis is doing this, to describe what a Swizzle driver is, a Swizzle driver... let me get a brush out so I can describe this. Let's get a brush. How about this one? So a swizzle is a kind of a funny term, but with a swizzle driver, say you have a color, and it has 4 values, like so. Well, a swizzle driver allows you to take, say, I don't know, a vec4 or a vector with 4 numbers in it, 0, 1, 2, 3, and you can drive each of these color values individually using something else. Or if you have, say, a 2-dimensional vector, you can say, okay, I want to drive these first 2 values with this value, or these last 2 values with the second value, and you can mix and match these numbers in any way you like between these different values. Or different types, and there's a bunch of different ones here. Like for instance, double float 2 to color, float 4 to color, etc.
So let's take a look at this. So X, Y, Z, and W. So in this case, we're going to need the target, and that's going to be the outline color. So I'm going to grab this outline color. Okay, yep. So this is what the component looks like right now. Float to color swizzle driver. So
Matt Husky, a vector is basically a number that's defined
isn't that a
within
direction?
A vector is a direction, I do believe, yes.
A vector is a direction, but it's also a general term used for, XYZ coordinates. You need 3 numbers for that, and a vector in this case, or vec3, that's what that would be called, would describe those 3 coordinates. But those data points are just numbers individually, and the Swizzle driver allows you to take those numbers and match them with other things.
Okay, so we have ourselves the float to color Swizzle driver and our outline color right here. So in this case, target. Now what target means is the thing it wants to drive, the thing that the component is going to change depending on what you're doing. So I'm going to point at this outline color here, hold the grab button, and I can drag and drop this into here. Now by default, nothing is in there. So actually, are these like the defaults?
So to describe how this works, in the X here, for example, that says 0. That's taking the first value from the float 2 and placing it in the X, or the first value in the output. 1 is the second value, and these are set to -1, which means these are unaffected by the values that we plug in here.
Okay. So it goes from 0 onward as like a counting up. So okay, that makes sense. So now we're going to need another component, which is under transform and drivers instead.
So it contains everything, unless it doesn't.
Yes. We are going to scroll down and look for Panner 2D. So this, actually, wait, I can't put a source in there. Okay.
You need a float 2.
Yep. So this basically drives the value up. It basically counts up, but in 2 numbers, pretty much. So I'm also going to open another component here, and we're going to need to store that under something. So I'm going to data value field, give it a minute, there we go, and find float 2. I'm going to take this value here, drag it under target. Now if I change the speed, in this case to 1, that'll constantly go up. Actually, I can make it repeat. Basically, it'll count up to this number and then it'll reset. In this case, I'll just do 1. I can also hit ping pong, which it'll go up and then it'll go down. Like a zigzag pattern. So I'm also going to take this value here and put it into the source. Let's see what it changes. It is changing something.
You've not got the alpha coming through.
You'll notice the alpha is 0. And because of that, it is invisible.
Yeah. Another way I can put defaults into this. Actually, is there a Swizzle driver for float 3?
There is a Swizzle driver for float 4, yes. It's under relations.
Relations, yes. Float 3.
Float 4.
I should probably use a float 4 instead, yes.
Yes, since a color has 4 values.
I was thinking I could just use like the hue. Man. First tutorial of the month.
Hey,
yes.
This is something new to us as well, so don't worry.
Yep.
This is actually not even using LogiX, so that's... I know it's possible, it's just I haven't done it yet. So, to kind of backtrack a little bit, go to Relations, Swizzle Drivers, Float 4 to Color Swizzle Driver. That's what we're going to need first. Next, we're going to go to Data again, and value field and scroll all the way down to color. There we go. We got step 2. And step 3, we're going to go to
I think
transform.
in this case we will need a float 4 since we will be driving the color with the float 4.
Panner 4D. We can have a default here as well. Actually, W would be 1 because that'll be alpha. Let's see here. Alpha will be 1, so we can actually see it, and the rest will actually change. And offset, actually we'll have to play around with that, so I'm going to take the value and put it into target.
You'll need a float 4 for that.
Yes, actually.
I was going to say, you won't be able to use a colour field.
Float.
Yes.
Yes.
You'll need a float 4 data field, which is under data.
Data field, yes.
If you want, you can have
boy.
Ryubi set it up for the color if you're stuck, but it's okay.
I get it.
Yes. Okay, now we can drag this into here.
Cool.
So with colors, with the red, green, and blue channels for RGB, in this case, it's more of a technical thing, but generally you want them to be offset by a third. So red can be 0, green can have a pre-offset of 0.33.
Pre-offset?
Mm-hmm.
0.33.
And blue can have 0.66. This means that these colors repeat offset by a third.
Because otherwise you'll end up with just white.
Yeah, it'll just be white.
I will drag the value to the source here. And that's what we'll use to drive our color. And now if I get the outline color, drive it here.
Well.
Now we have a Razer alarm clock. Now there's a way to change the speed here. Oh, okay. Actually, that makes
If you're
it...
curious what I just did there, I turned on ping pong because with... let me actually get my brush here again, unless it was deleted. I think it was deleted.
Yeah, I think I grabbed it and murdered it.
So with this ping pong value here, for people who have never used it before, actually, could I have point of view next?
Yes. There you go.
Thank you. So this ping pong value I checked, you'll notice when it's unchecked, the color of the clock is kind of jittery and not what we want. If I check it, it looks fine. The reason for that is this Panner 4D, let's say we look at it over time, it's going from 0 up to 1 and then immediately back to 0 and then up to 1 and it keeps doing that. We don't necessarily want that. With ping pong, we'll go up from 0 to 1, how we want it to, and then back down to 0, so it goes like this over time. And it's doing this for each of the values separated by a third, and it does what we want. That's all. It just can
Basically, it
pick
just
it back
smooths
again.
the value out and makes it repeat back. It just makes the value go backwards.
Yes.
Yes, the clock looks so much better RGB, thank you. And
That
I was
does look really
surprised that
cool.
we were able to, have the... I didn't even know that you could do it all through components and not even having to pull out the...
I knew it
tutorial
was
with
possible,
with
but...
Logic, but
Well,
that's awesome.
You learn something new every day.
Yeah, like, it goes to show that even us that, like, work with Neos on a daily basis learn
It's 'cause
something
there's so
every
many
day.
The
things
target
to
was...
add it.
Yeah, I reassigned
Okay.
it because I wanted to see what it looked like when it wasn't the
right.
outline.
There
In
is
this
a
case, I'm
question.
gonna change the outline
Are you,
thickness,
Ryuvi,
though.
related to this, by the way? There you go, at the bottom.
This is the question for me. Is there a way to have a radial color panning, much like a circular color picker goes round and around, much like an actual RGB lamp? Do you mean like that, like it's a circle, Angel Boy, that goes around, like the edge of a circle, like this, like the color picker? So I'm a little bit confused on your question.
Yeah, I'll bring up the chat so you can see it.
I've got a local
Spin.
chat.
Okay, brilliant.
Spin.
And this can also be used with any material, right? To make anything RGB?
Yes.
Anything with a color
Anything that
field.
takes a color value.
Nice, awesome.
Okay, actually what I am gonna do is do it to my eyes.
Okay. Here, let me actually go in my POV and
I was about to say, actually, Aegis, if you need to, do it. You could do it to the texture on my mouth because it's a lot
You know
more
what?
visible.
I just realized. Let's
RGB mouth.
let's turn Wraith into Razor. These are actually what? Is this it?
What you want is on my top one here.
Uh-huh.
Ooh, we just got gifted some subscriptions.
If you drive my
Thank you,
emissive
Ragnar.
color,
Oh.
Nice timing. There we go. It's RGB. Actually, you know what? Let's make the
So
text
how did
RGB.
you put that over real quick?
Those will
Or how
disappear.
did you-
Ages.
how did
No.
you,
So-
what'd you do?
So, right here, so float floor to color swizzle driver. So I already got everything else set up, like how it changes the color and everything. But you got the source here, but the target is what it's driving. In this case, right now it's Wraith's mouth and nostrils.
You took their material of
no,
what did
the
you
color. The color.
Oh, so you took
So
the
I
emissive color
dragged-
and you dragged
I
it over
grabbed the
here.
color and dragged it right to target.
Okay, cool. So you just basically took the drive of what was all created out from this RGB clock to now be driven onto Wraith's mouth. Cool.
yep.
And I
And
just
something else, what we could do as well, Aegis,
turn
actually,
it back.
just to make this a bit more visible, is if I pull this texture out, we'll actually convert it to
Make-
grayscale.
Okay, let me grab it and
I'm already in it now.
yep. No, I just was going to bring it back onto there.
But the thing is, you're still gonna not see it on my eyes, but you can now see that my eyes are going a bit more as well.
Yeah,
Rainbow Wraith.
and tongue
On my tongue.
Taste the rainbow.
or be
Yes,
the rainbow.
be the rainbow in this case.
And
heck,
Angel Boy,
actually. There we go.
to answer. Oh, jeez. Angel Boy, to answer your question, you can definitely use this kind of a method to change the color of something over time. Say if you wanted to have something, you wave your hand in a circle, for example, and it changes the color over time. I can definitely talk with you personally, because I'm still a little bit confused on what you
God.
want, but there are ways to make something rainbow like that.
Oh no.
Wraith, he's more rainbow.
But yeah, you can
I
do
just
some
used,
really fun stuff.
Well,
Like that.
let's reapply the drive back on the clock, and then we can put it back there on the wall, and then people have access to being able to see it once we have the world open.
And people can use it and dissect it and see how it works on their own.
Exactly.
Did I just bake the? Oh, I baked the mesh.
Oh no. Wap,
All right.
wap, wap.
I'm going to make a new text. I'll fix this manually.
Okay.
So
okay.
it's under.
Well,
Yeah, that
Aegis-
happens sometimes.
accidentally
Rack!
While
pressing
Aegis is
things.
doing that,
Damn
do we
you.
have another tutorial that we were going to go over?
We are almost on the hour mark. I'm wondering how long we wanted this to go on.
We could go on. We could go over some of the questions that we've had as
Oh,
well.
yes, we do have a few questions, I believe.
Once I
Yeah,
finish
so-
being a rave.
Someone had asked earlier about
We'll take
like
this
importing.
time
We
to
could-
get your guys' questions in. And Reza asks, "Hey, what's this?" This is us streaming out our Wednesday or our workshop Wednesdays, where we are here inside Neos showing you guys how to build off some really cool content, such as
Right,
this
I know
RG
I've
RGB
answered
clock.
Earthmark stuff.
Excuse me.
We answered that for.
Watch, this is tiny.
They were asking why you were in a different avatar as well.
Who, me?
Yeah.
It's just for fun.
Yeah.
We're lots of different avatars.
Yeah.
Chirpy, yes, many of us have eye tracking.
Yeah, a lot. I was going to say, I think every single one of us in here has eye tracking pretty much, usually.
Except for me.
I said, Separate room. And Aegis, because Aegis's cable's broken.
Thank you, scalpers.
Yeah, I'm in desktop right now. Mostly because I'm working a lot in Blender on the side while we're in here.
Yeah. But I'd say if you guys have got anything in particular you're curious about, even avatar creation stuff, avatar add-ons, we can cover them as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think
Any
it's
questions?
good
Now would be a good time.
I think it's good for these streams to keep it just like one tutorial at a time, an hour type mark,
Yeah.
and then just like have
Mhm.
about
Yeah, that's the
15,
reason why.
15 minutes to
That's-
just answer any questions at the end, and that's a good
Yeah, exactly.
round of time. I feel like
Yeah,
for
that's
these
what I
types
was
of streams.
thinking. We can, as I say, the stream length will depend on what we're doing, depending on which project we're doing. So it could be an hour, it could be 2 hours.
True. And this one was
Well-
pretty simple and to the point.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. A good start.
Well, if it's a bit convoluted, still go away and ask anyway. And
Yeah.
if we can answer it, we can answer it.
Ooh.
I actually I actually destroyed the Twitch chat when I was grabbing the sub.
And
the
actually, I
subs.
think this would be also a
Over
good
here.
time for you guys. You can also make suggestions as to what you would want to see probably for next week or the week after, and we can possibly write down some ideas that you guys might have that you want to learn or do. Like somebody suggested, I think it was Earthmark, of doing stuff that involves UIX. If you have any suggestions as well, it doesn't have to just be questions. You can make a suggestion even right now as to what you want to see to learn to build here inside of Neos.
Where the heck is that being snapped to? Something's
Storm
grabbing the
says,
Twitch chat.
could show some people on how snappers work. Great idea, Storm. We did this before in our previous tutorials, but I feel like inside of this world it's a lot calmer, and you can reteach people how to do snappers. I think that would be a great one to do. Very good idea.
So let me scale that a little bit smaller.
Rampa says the step-up logic. Yep, absolutely. I believe that step-up is just components, right? Am I not wrong about that?
It's part of the
Step up is part of the physical locomotion component.
Yep, which those are just components, so those wouldn't even be logic driven, but we definitely can have a stream to talk about the step-up logic. I think that's a really good idea as well. So we got so far how do snappers work, or how to make a snappable items to avatars. That's a really important thing, or just snappers in general, as well as the step logic. That would be a really good one. Rez says, is there a component similar to look at but with a pull vector?
So,
Vector. By that, do you mean a look at, and you want it to look at a certain direction, certain vector?
Okay, so we'll get back to Rez to see what their answer is on that. Brack is saying, basically just wondering, I used a website called Pretzel Rocks to play music from my stream, and I was wondering if it would be possible to stream it in Neo so people in the game can hear my music too. Absolutely. I could even show you that just real quick here through my UI. If you ever want to stream music here inside of Neo, so you can just go right here on your home tab and go to stream audio, and once you stream audio, you can take the music or the audio that's being played out from your music from whatever is the area of which you want to have the audio input device be, and then start streaming, and then it's going to pop out a streaming area for you. So that's just to answer that real quick, but absolutely you can stream music inside of here.
Did you take my?
Good question. Set up an avatar with plain eyes.
Did you take my hat? Was on
That's an interesting one.
oh,
Now
Sorry.
this is a good one. This will be a good one. The next one is a good one for the content creation team, actually, from Kuro. Can we get a tutorial on how to make a custom spawn point? One that has a sound and a visual effect when someone joins a world.
Good
that
idea.
is definitely
That would be
doable.
great. That is totally doable, and I think that's a good way to general spawn points in general, because sometimes worlds don't have spawn points, and you just, who knows where you'll spawn.
And be mindful also
You'll
if you're
spin at
making a
World
custom
Origin.
spawn point, just to delete the one that was previously there. And then you can move it to be wherever you want. But good idea, especially with the whole visual effects as well as the sound effects, because a lot of people don't know that. I think we could even go another level and a step above that with the spawn area to teach users how to make it so then they spawn into a specific avatar as well. Because I hear a lot of people have the questions, as well as we could even let people know how to do that spawn area before they fall through the floor, because I do notice a lot of people when they make their world, you're falling through the ground. If we taught
Yes, an initial collider.
Yeah, an
Yes.
initial
I mean,
flight,
even
so
this world
all-
has that
all of-
problem, so we could use that to teach it.
Actually, you know what? Yeah, this world does have that problem, so
Well-
this world will be a perfect candidate to do that.
Yeah, we'll come back to the end of the stream on here, you guys, and then I'll be sure to write down the list of these ideas that are coming through, because I think this is really important for the community to know this information, especially for the spawn points one. I think that would even be a really good next one, honestly.
Right.
Mhm.
I'll tell you what, Rack. We'll cover this
Here's
one
some-
quickly because this is quite a simple one.
And it's
Right,
important.
Rack has just asked, how do we add simple avatar protection to an avatar that already exists?
Oh yeah, let's show this real quick. We can show this very quickly for you.
Yep. So what I'll do is I'll actually spawn out an avatar.
Here, I'll put on smooth POV for you, Ray.
Yep.
There you go.
So
Put that in the essentials.
what we'll
I
do
did.
is we'll get my avatar.
Actually, it's under examples.
I hit my put in my avatar, hit my secondary to select it, and I'll go into Open Inspector here. And what I'll do is I'll go into the avatar's root here, and usually the best place to put it would be on the would you say it'd be the best place to be the body, wouldn't it, Ravy?
The root.
Yeah,
root of
the
the-
root, the body, anywhere on it,
Anywhere.
really.
Yeah. So what we'll do is we attach a component, and under our components we have a users one. Under users, we go to common avatar system, and right down at the bottom you'll see simple avatar protection. Once you click on that, it will add that to the bottom of your components here, and you'll have the simple avatar protection.
Now, if you're doing this for someone else's avatar, you have to have them double click
Yes.
that because it will assign the user that adds
Yeah, you can
that
see right
component
Just as-
onto it.
You can see right here, it actually has the user ID right here, which says Wraith Sphere, because he was the one that attached
Yeah.
the component.
Just an example now, Aegis, can you put that on? Now if you look now, Aegis has just clicked it, and now Aegis has a protection on that avatar as well. Which means now that avatar can't be worn by either of us.
Oh.
And because
No.
it had my simple avatar protection on it, and Aegis's, it destroyed itself.
I didn't like that.
No, it was like, oh, you're stealing things.
Self-destruct, kaboom.
So
Yeah.
Angela has a pretty long question here, saying it might be too specific. Maybe someone coincidentally knows the solution. So currently, when uploading avatars, their mesh normals seem to be set in stone. So when deforming using blend shapes, the smooth shading does not update. Wondering if there is a fix for that.
Could we get the camera back to one of us, boy?
There's Wraith is looking off somewhere. Here, there you go. Yeah, there.
It's probably in desktop.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's on you right now, Raven. Or,
No
well,
solutions. Are you? I presume you're talking about the smooth shading option here in Neos when you're updating a mesh. That sometimes works, I've noticed. But your best option for updating normals is currently in Blender or some other external program. We do have some options for updating normals, like inverting them and smooth shading objects in here. But there are some edge cases where that does not work currently. So for that, I would suggest just doing that in Blender.
So allow me to get an example object here. So I got a mesh in this mesh orb here, and I open up the mesh settings here, so you can see all the different options you can play around with within Neos.
Mm-hmm.
So
Very cool. And we got the RGB clock up here on the wall. Okay, so we now have for our first stream of November 3rd for our very first Workshops Wednesday that we have done. And if you guys want to have access to this, we're going to be having this world. Is it just going to be published, I'm guessing?
It will be published. It won't be published straight away because I'm going to have to do a bit of pokery around this behind the scenes just to make sure everything is ready. But it will be available for people from tomorrow.
Cool.
but right
Also-
away, what I did as well is, if you go into Neos Essentials and other examples,
Yay.
you'll see it right here. What we just made on stream.
Nice.
So now anybody can go in there and
No.
see literally what we
What?
just made here, and
Mhm.
they'll be able to spawn it out, tinker with it, or even
Another
just use it
thing-
in their world.
Another thing we are going to do, as I say, we probably will be shutting off very shortly because we haven't got too much else to cover. What we will do is I'm going to open the world up till the end of the hour. So if you guys do want to join on us right now, once we finish the stream, come speak to us and, actually have a look yourself. We can explain things to you in person.
Cool.
Mhm.
Sounds good.
Hmm.
As I say, I'll be here. So I don't know who else will still be around, but yeah.
I'll be around.
I'll be
Awesome.
around for a bit.
So
So there you go. If you've got any
We'll-
questions or anything,
we'll answer these last two questions and then we'll end off
Yep.
the stream right here. So let's answer these just last two that we have here up on the board. Player says, question about locomotive. Is it possible to slow down how someone is able to move in walking and flying? I have noticed when I'm trying to shimmy to the side, it takes 3 or 4 attempts to find the right spot. So do we have an answer for that question?
I presume they are talking about movement speed, and I believe that can be adjusted to a degree in the locomotion modules, but your own movement speed for things like no-clip and flying and such, that is in your dashboard on the settings panel. There are settings there for that. However, I believe for
Yeah, let me show that just
some
real-
locomotion
Let me
settings,
show that
yeah.
just real quick for you guys. So I have my UI up here, and then I'll go to settings, and then there should be no clip speed right around here. Yep, right about there. It's showing my laser, and then you can set that to whatever speed you want for no clip, as well as movement, or even smooth turn speed. You can adjust in all these different movement settings. So yeah. And the last question that we're going to be answering for today, Gun Griffin says, what other common avatar customizations would you be able to show offhand? Name tag, default scale, color, pizza sauce?
That won't be something, as I say, we'll be covering now in this stream, but we will cover avatar customizations hopefully soon.
Cool.
I think the name tag one will be a really great one because I've been asked that,
Yep.
like in person in Neos, so a couple of times already. So I think
Get
that'll
off
be
the cursed platform.
nice and again.
Right, let's make this disappear. Oh, whoop.
Well, thank you all for watching our very first Workshop Wednesdays, and this was a very cool stream, and thank you to, I guess it was the community that wanted these sorts of streams, right, Wraith?
Yeah, this came through in our community feedback sessions asking us if we could do tutorial streams, and I was like, yeah, I've been talking about this now. How long have I been commenting on this, Aegis? It's been nearly, 4 or 5 months that I've been saying to you we need to get into doing these again.
I believe so.
Yeah, put some hearts instead of chats, you guys, if you really enjoyed this stream, and if you want us to, do more of these types of streams, put some hearts inside a chat so we can see that you guys enjoyed this one.
I'm glad you guys did enjoy these. As I say, the idea behind this is for you guys to learn Neos and to learn, we don't want to try and overload you too much, but at the same time, we want to teach you some of the more advanced stuff of Neos as well. Because, basics are nice. It's nice to know the basics, but it's also nice to know a bit more of the advanced stuff. And as I say, we'll get into some of the other things as well, like good practices when it comes down to world building and LogiX. Make sure your LogiX are tidy and all that good stuff. But yeah, thank you very much everyone for all the love as well. It's been really appreciated. Without you guys, what's the point in us doing this stream? And thanks all for watching. And
It seems like a lot of people enjoy it because we have many, many hearts. So
yeah,
and honestly, I'm liking this sort of stream style, and it's short and to the point of just teaching new users, and even I can come back to it and even learn how to do stuff for that.
it's a
code
lot
making.
more. It's a
very
lot
calm.
more relaxed and a lot less chaotic than our standard streams. Put it that way. And especially with that nice, relaxing music in the background, I've really enjoyed that. I've actually enjoyed listening to that music. That music really fits what we're doing.
It's like filler music. You don't even really notice it. It's just there.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, you all have an amazing day. And like Wraith said, you can come inside of here and ask questions for about an hour as well. So peace,
The
everyone.
session will be open for about an hour. So goodbye. Thank you very much, and stay safe.
Oh!
Ah.